What's the good word, y'all? It's your boy DKB here. One of these storylines for the New York Jets in the early portion of the season is actually going to be centered around one of our undrafted free agents in Leonard Taylor III. When you look at the three UDFAs that made the roster after cut day in Leonard, in Eric Watts, and Brady McGregor, one of the impressive things is how Leonard Taylor turned it on when the lights were the brightest, right? He's had his moments throughout the course of training camp, but wholesalely, or largely anyways, we're mostly looking at recency bias with him. All three of the preseason games he was able to participate in. He did really, really well, coming out with 7 pressures, 2.5 sacks, a shade below an 18% pass rush win rate, and a couple of run stops as well. But it's not like he's been dominating practices from start to finish. Otherwise, this would be a bit of a moot point. But over the first 4 weeks, when we're seeing Leki Fotu, our free agent DT, kind of replacing that Al Woods type position, Leonard Taylor's going to have an opportunity to eat into what would otherwise be starting rotational level snaps, right? Now, Leki Fotu, I've seen somewhere, has averaged something like 228 reps per season over his first 4 years or something. So Leonard Taylor may not see that depending on how things pan out, but this is a prime opportunity for him, right? The 49ers, I'm actually forgetting our first slate of games, but I could try to look that up real quick. Nonetheless, though, first 4 weeks of the season will be huge because Leki will be out with the hamstring injury that the Jets are looking to nurse back and not necessarily have to force anything. And they also have the luxury of kind of having the chance to play Michael Clemens inside if things became, drastic measures. But we have the 49ers, we have the Titans, Patriots, and Broncos as the first 4 matchups. Arguably, I don't know, maybe the Titans outside of the 49ers have the best offensive line. So even from an interior perspective, Leonard Taylor should have plenty of opportunities to go out there and put on display exactly what we saw in the preseason, which was a penetrator in the A-gap specifically. It seems to be a focal point of his that he looks to attack the offenses. So if there is any kind of interior weakness, right, and if somebody's rolling in backups, etc., it's going to be even more of a standout measure for him, where he should always be fresh as well, because it's not like we're talking about him replacing a Javon Kinlaw. This could be a major problem for offenses that we're going to be facing in this first stretch, and also a prime opportunity for the Jets to bump him up quite a few spots right now. The first measuring stick will be, can he match what Solomon Thomas is doing? And Solomon Thomas has improved over the course of his Jets tenure so far, going from a guy that was bad as a pass rusher in most situations and as a run stopper in most situations to a guy that's actually offered a bit of pass rush pop inside and has improved his run capabilities, not just interior but also out on the edge, although they've kept him mostly on the inside. Leki Fotu is a guy that's going to be going through a huge transition period because he's essentially played in a 3-4 defense for the majority of his career. The Jets liked a lot of what he may offer in terms of a bit of an above average first step for a guy that's tilting the scales at about 330 plus pounds or so. So I'm excited for this right now. This would be exactly what you hope for if you're a Jets fan, a prime piece of real estate, right? When you want to talk about the cap dollars perspective of things, a guy that's going to be an absolute steal if he can work his way into some kind of starting rotation. This is his chance to jump on the reins early and not relinquish the hold. Leki will still ultimately have a role, and even if Leonard Taylor isn't ready for the NFL right out of the gates, he'll also still have a role, but this is something definitely to keep an eye on. We'll probably call it out when we dive into some of the 49ers versus Jets matchups. Luckily, now we get to finally just talk about starters versus starters for the most part. But he's a guy to definitely have your eyes on early and often. He should definitely see a pretty significant amount of snaps. So let me know what you guys think. Where is Leonard Taylor going to fall on this spectrum, right? Can he keep pushing after a pretty significant or strong preseason, or is this a guy that's going to potentially wane early, actually going up against top-notch competition now when it's mostly first stringers and high-end second string guys? I'll catch you guys again. Peace.